about that Dust 2, man. TSM, they were on the verge of getting eliminated, but they were like, hey, we selected Dust 2. We came here to perform. Cadians start us off here on that map.
They got off to a great start, and what we addressed in the beginning was the way that they're handling the map. They get so much map control. They were so effective on taking control over the long A area, which really gave them this big advantage, because EnVyUS has to fall back and play these close quarters on the short A area where you are so easily getting flashed and Molotov'd away. So basically TSM just handled the map very well. That gave them that good start that they needed, and we all know how strong they are as CT.
Yeah, so it wasn't until the 8th round that EnVyUS didn't have a reply to that. They finally got a double orb set up and sent 3 people towards long, were able to shut it down. But once you get to 7-0, the CT side, it's a little bit too far gone. They did get a flurry of 5 rounds in a row, so there was signs of a comeback. But TSM ultimately, their mid-round decisions, their map control, like we said, as soon as they get certain areas, that is so switched on as to where they need to go and where they need to execute at that point.
Yeah, Fifth, what about you?
No, coming into the 2 Dust 2, that's what the one thing that I said is that Envy needs to close out on their seat side, because they can't let TSM get so many T rounds, because it's their seat side that's dangerous, right? And that didn't happen. Switching over, when Envy then went over to the T side, Sipnix is the standout guy for me the whole series, or the whole map, right? I was calling him out on Cash, and then coming in Dust 2, I think he got a little bit upset with me.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit. I actually wanted to ask, because we talked about it, I think, during the group stages, maybe a little bit yesterday too, about how Sipnix, he's not meant to necessarily always be that top forever, but man, did he perform in Dust 2, and I don't think anyone on TSM is going to complain about that one.
No, not. He's been having that role as well in Fnatic back in the days, being this very star player, and he's able to step up when it's really needed. And for this game, he impressed us all, I think. He was getting not only a lot of kills, but high impact kills as well. And it's going to be interesting to see how he's going to play on the last map, because he's going to be very important for that B hold on Inferno together with Kerrigan. We know that EnVyUS likes to force buy so much. They're going to be aggressive on towards this B bomb side with a lot of Molotovs, a lot of grenades, and these Tech 9s coming into your face.
One thing to know about the force buying, it's a double-edged sword. Obviously, they're so good at it, and it can get them a lot of rounds, but that map there cost them. That's what got them to the 7-0 position. They bought Scout twice for MBK, and then going into the first gun round, they had him on the actual Scout itself, and that's not a real viable option, especially. We know MBK can be really good with it, but it's not enough to shut down a terrorist side as strong as TSM's.
And you have to compliment the calling from Kerrigan in this situation. He knows that he saved that Scout. He knows that NBK is normally around long. They make this line of smokes towards the long area, and he's isolated in pit with a Scout. That's an easy kill to get. In general, just very wise decision making from TSM. Also, we saw the 3-on-3 where Kerrigan died in dark in trying to make the retake on the B-bomb side, and instead of going 2 against 3, they just decide to save the double orbs. And I mean, the only way you can lose such a big lead is if you get money screwed a lot of times, and they didn't.
Yeah, so that's the best thing you can do, right? When you have that advantage and you have that bed of rounds that you fall back on, so you don't need to make those risky plays, and you can just ensure yourself keeping the economic advantage and saving the guns, and then that's how you can close out games properly instead of letting it go into the rut we see so many times.
Yeah, it really seemed like TSM had their eyes on the prize, on the long run. Like, we need to win overall, not just that one round. We still have 2 more rounds to go when they were still at 14 rounds up. Well then, Inferno, now going to that last map. Fifth, are we going to see a clear advantage on either side here? TSM starting CT on this one.
Yeah, I think this is something that they really needed. Just making sure that they come up to a good start here after just battering Envy on Dust 2, right? And then, like Katie was saying, Kerrigan and Sipnix on the B bomb side will be key, especially considering when Envy they will just look for frags. They did it versus Navi. They went on mid, got a bunch of frags. They went B. They were just picking Navi apart everywhere on the map. And again, TSM used to be a very well-oiled CT machine team, right? Will we see it now? Because that's something that we'll need. Switching over on TSM's T side, you're going to see a lot of B hits as well. Kerrigan just running through the smoke and B with his Tech 9, getting that one expo flash, possibly getting that one kill that would just open up the rest of the side for the remaining TSM members.
Exactly, like coming off to a good start is very important on the CT side for them. A lot of people is treating me, EnVyUS is not winning a lot of pistol rounds, but for me the scare of that is not losing. I mean, TSM has to win the pistol round, of course, but for them, it's about not losing those.
Absolutely, that's
those
the hardest part.
Ecos, because
right?
they're so strong at that, and that's what's really going to mess up your economy.
All right, well, tied 1-1 now, down to just one map. We're back to square one now for Inferno. Envy versus TSM. Who will be our first finalist for this major at ESL One Cologne? Let's find out with the three awesome gentlemen on the commentating desk. It's going to be Anders, Moses, and Semler once again, rounding out this semifinal.
Thank you so much, Trevor, and thank you so much for the analysis on the desk. We are going to be getting into the third map of the quarterfinals, of the semifinals, of the playoffs, I think I should say. So this is it, guys. Anders, Moses, what do you make of the team's chances here on Inferno?
It's all going to come down, basically, I mean, I know this is going to start sound like a broken record, but the economy for CT side teams on Inferno is the most crucial thing there is, to be able to have those Molotovs and smokes for choke points. So it's all going to come down to TSM. They did a great job of it on Dust 2, is managing how much damage they take if there's ever a force buy out of Envy. If they ever, if they're ever saving and they just buy out those Tech 9 armor, if they can minimize the amount of economical damage dealt during those rounds, then they can be okay and they can grind out some rounds.
So to lead off from that, one of the best ways obviously to get a good economy started on any map is to win the pistol round, and actually Envy have a pretty bad statistic of doing that here. Just think about this semi-final so far. Have they lost all pistol rounds?
Pretty sure they've lost all of them.
The only saving grace is that they have an uncanny ability to then win the follow-up rounds. If it weren't for that, Envy might be in a lot more trouble, but on a map like this, it's a lot more difficult to do. If TSM can keep this up, and if Envy don't sort of correct their pistol round statistic, this could be a little bit tricky.
I wholeheartedly agree. And I mean, obviously everybody, it's going to be fresh in their minds, what Envy did to Na'Vi on this map. That incredible struggle between both teams, force buy after force buy for what felt like 10 rounds in the first half. Envy kept bringing it back, but TSM, they will have done their homework. They will have studied that map, figured out Envy's tendencies, and they should have a counter in play for this.
All right, but just like we said on Cash, there were just some rounds that Envy with those force buys made work. I mean, they're a team that no matter what happens on these force buys, they're so dangerous, and it just somehow always works out for them. It's a huge strength for their team, and TSM is going to have to shut that down.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, this is it, the pistol round of the third map. And let's see if Envy can finally win one here versus TSM, who are starting on the CT side. Envy on the offense and already gathered up outside of B. The bomb is there as well. 4 players, with one of them backing off to make sure there's no backstab coming in from TSM. But this is going to be it. Apex just waiting, biding his time.
They're not even going to slow down Envy. They just keep pushing through. Carrigan picks up a kill device with another headshot here. It's looking good for TSM, but now they've got them locked in the corner, and Kenny, Happy, and NBK instant refrags. And now Dupree and Cajun are going to try and come into it here, but NBK has picked up a USPS and he shuts down Dupree. And this might be exactly where Envy pick up a pistol round that they need. Too many people to fight. Happy wins it. Double for Happy, double for NBK, and Envy off to a great start.
I mean, they're going to have to be careful that this entire half is just Envy exploding through that smoke and banana, pushing onto that B site, and they even get the first 2 kills that time, and just in a 3-on-5, every Envy player just turns up, clears out the bomb site, wins for the retake.
Exactly, and that's the key, is that on Envy, nobody has any fear. They just run forward. They say, this is the job we have to get done. There's no stopping. It doesn't matter if players start dying. They just run in and clear the site. They hit the shots. I mean, that's what it's all about. And they're just going to keep on brutalizing TSM here in the second round. The third man is here. Dupree might try and catch him off guard, but he gets overwhelmed. Apex, 2 kills for him. He's finally taking some damage, and Device will be taking out his teammate Kenny, but the damage is done. It's a 2-on-4 situation, and now Envy, they have the time to set up the bomb with proper afterplant positions.
Yeah, and Happy's even in CT spawn looking to just make some money off that MAC-10.
Money, money, money. Yeah, well, Elias isn't interested in that. He doesn't like sharing.
That was a very good shot from Device. That was actually a mid-air shot on Happy, but steals the MAC-10. Great if he could get a kill with the hit. That would net him a lot of money, and Device actually does like AWPing on Inferno CT side, so if he can get, the section of dollar bonus, then that's going to help him later on.
I'm really interested to see if Kenny's going to decide to op on the T-side Inferno, because it's probably the hardest map for a T-side opper. It's so difficult for them to have success. Now, in past lineups, one thing that Kenny has done very, very well is instead of, if you try and go mid, if you try and go B with an AWP, you're going to be blocked by smokes and flashbangs, basically for the whole round. It's very uncomfortable for an opper. So what he's done in the past is just get aggressive towards halls and push down halls very quickly, try and grab an angle into the A bomb site from those halls. And he's one of the few oppers who's done it with success.
Well, leading into this now, this is going to be a hard eco out of TSM. Not a single dollar spent. They're on standard issue pistols versus EnVy's obviously, you know, well-equipped team. Kiyoshima, he knows what's up. He stays on the shotgun. He wants to make that $900 per frag, and 2 SMGs as well for EnVy. So they really are looking to try and farm in this round. What's interesting about this also is that TSM, they don't go for a gamble. They don't go for a stack on a site. They actually set up pretty standard. So not really anything standing out here apart from the fact that EnVy should just be able to make a lot of money in this round.
Happy, making a lot of noise as well here. So they kind of know where he is, but he's not really worried about it. Device will go down, and the rest of EnVy around middle or banana, and it's going to be Apex to get that kill on Dupree. Now rushing up from behind, just running and gunning here. Another SMG kill, and it's down to Sipnix. See if he can claim at least a little bit. One bullet on Happy would have done it, at least force him to sort of rebuy the armor, but it's not going to happen. Sipnix will be down, and EnVy with 3 good rounds here.
I do want to point out, the other day against Na'Vi on this map, it was actually Happy instead of Kenny deciding to op on the T side, which was really, really interesting.
Apex was up at $8,600 at the beginning of this round. That's an obscene amount of money to have at the beginning if you're on T side. That could go towards an op later on. That could go towards anything, a couple of rifles. Massive, but yeah, they are kind of skimping on TSM's side, even with that hard eco. They're still light on nades. They don't have a kit. They're neglecting to buy helmets just to save a little bit more money, and Dupree fluffs a nade. That is unacceptable. That is not something you do, especially when it comes to TSM, who love to take control of banana, get that aggressive banana smoke down, and then leave Sipnix there. That's not an option. We see them changing up immediately.
And look how fast they are in towards this bomb site down in the pit. They need help here on the TSM side. Cajun gonna go down, and so will Device. Dupree to fall. And there's that quad push that they pulled against Na'Vi again and again and again. And TSM, they couldn't stop it.
Yeah, no utilities to slow that down, and that's a pace that they've got to be very careful for. And another really scary part about that is Apex just had an MP7 that round. He gets the entry kill with it. Now it's a free upgrade to an M4. So no one even falling for EnVy. So all of a sudden, very early on, TSM getting beaten up.
And now EnVy, of course, with the money that they have in the bank, they aren't going to let TSM save. They're going to throw everybody at these 2 Danish players, make sure that the rifles will not make it into the next round. They're closing in now. EnVy, Sipnix holding in construction, looking for the headshot. He will pick up the first. Not going to get, yes, he does get the second. He stays alive. And this is huge for TSM. They actually have 2 guns to work with this round. Big play by Sipnix.
Yeah, that's going to be very important later on. Also just causing a little bit of damage there onto EnVy. And this round they're going to play with 3 smokes. The people who didn't have any rifles here are going to be buying up smokes just to, and actually a 4th and a 5th one. So they're going to try and see if they can force EnVy into some uncomfortable situations.
Yeah, what you could do with that is you can use those smokes on one of the choke points, B or in mid, and try and kind of funnel the opponents towards the stack of your choosing.
Let's see where they decide to go. NBK clearly setting up for a smoke. Looks like it's going to be towards the bank, towards short. Yep. So they're looking to block it up. They're looking to change it up, but TSM, they're in position. They've got 3 players here. The flashes are going to go out, but there's the opening kill. Kenny S taking out Kerrigan, and they remove Dupree as well. Device will only take 1 man with him, and Cajun V gets spotted on the balcony. It's a catastrophe for TSM. They had 4 players on the A site, and EnVy walked through them as if they weren't even there.
There were so many times where it looked like all of EnVy lined up for any one TSM player, and they were either flashed or they didn't have the right weapon for that situation, one or the other. And Sipnix now in a fight to try and see if he can stay alive, save this rifle, maybe hope for something next in the next round here. It's going to be Happy going down, and Sipnix still doing very well here. I mean, throughout the first 2 maps, Sipnix was definitely one of the top players on TSM, and he might just have to keep going.
He's going to play the same position again to try and hold on to his gun, so we'll see if he's lucky or if he manages to hit the headshots this time around. NBK is closing in. He's definitely going to beeline here into construction, setting up the Molotov this time, though, so Sipnix going to be slightly out of position. Perfect play by NBK, prepared for that trap.
One of the things that was so beautifully done that round by EnVy, and actually they do this a lot. They stagger flashbangs so well. That first flashbang comes over the wall.
Sorry, there's Goy from Vacam, a reporter for the French website. Just going nuts in the French section.
But they stagger flashbangs, so that first flash comes over the wall, the defender looks away from it. As soon as he turns back, a second one explodes just a second later right in his face. And that's crucial for a team that likes to execute through smokes. They're not scared to do it, so you need to have good flashbangs if you're going to do that.
Well, speed is the key, and once again, they're going to go for it here. Cajun will win the first fight, and he's going to try and fall back. Will not be successful. Just lost so much health doing that. It's a good grenade, and Envy, are they going to keep going? They actually walk into a second grenade from Dupree, and this time the setup is pretty decent for TSM. Good shot there from Device down from Library to take one down. A second falls Device, dropping NBK, and now it's Happy and Kenny S left. Finally, TSM making a stand. Kenny's going to tab the bomb, and he will be able to put it down. So it's not over yet, although Happy will go down, and Kenny inside the bomb side. Actually, no-scope legs. That shot onto Carrigan, but not going to be able to finish it. So 5-1, finally TSM are in the match.
Don't even know how he landed that no-scope.
Instant replay? Holy hell. Imagine he hits that first shot. He could make that so expensive for TSM at that point.
I guess I especially really don't want to try and sort of rub this in or put it on anyone, but if you guys notice how Dupree has had a very, very tough first 2 games, and this time I think he's 0-5 right now. He's not doing very well either. So it has been a very, very tough semifinals for Dupree so far.
Oh, that was just godlike. We didn't have quite the time there to catch that frag, but man, what a shot by Kenny. He is just so lethal. But 2 players now, and again, aggressive smoke down Banana. There it is, flashes, Molotovs, everything to get control of this position on the map. Not allow Envy to get too close to the B site too early on here in the round. Envy, however, they're perfectly fine, or at least they seem like it. Once again, setting up for smokes on the A site.
And this is the classic Envy push, isn't it? Everyone knows how this works. Device is going to be falling back. Dupree and Cajun are also in the bomb site. They're wrapping around Apex, and Kenny leading the charge. We're going to have to see if they can get some kills. Look at this, crunching either side of the bomb site. But Cajun and Dupree, they put a stop to it. The bomb is down as well. Device can't find a cross kill. He's not going to hit the shot either. And that clears out the pit. And now it's a 3v3. This was looking great for TSM.
That was a crucial kill to miss, because that was the bomb as well. He picks up the bomb as he's running into the site. Kerrigan tries to flash himself through the smoke, and he grabs one, so now the lane is open for retake.
The time is opening, but now it's going to be Kenny. Flash of his own, trying to buy some time. They turn away here. However, it's TSM. He's looking for the shot, but he's not going to get it, and it's all going to come down to the natural born killer, who dunks a nade straight onto Kerrigan. But it's a 1v2, now a 1v1, and NBK needs to pace himself. No, he says no. I'm going to take this round. And Envy, 1v3 clutch for NBK to shatter TSM.
There's a huge chance that that was the ticket into the grand finals. That is a devastating round to lose.
Right, and you can see how devastating it was by the fact that TSM has bought up in this round. They know they're nearing to that point where they can't recover from this many rounds lost on their CT side. Envy is so dangerously close.
Yes. Well played.
I like it. I like it a lot. It's NBK, Apex, Kiyoshima pushing up Banana. They've had a lot of focus on the A bomb side, so they're going to try and switch it up and at least put some pressure on TSM, and they're going to force them back in the B bomb side as well. 6-1. What a lead here for the Frenchmen.
They still lurk, and they're going to go for another trademark play, perhaps just gathering up, waiting for the smoke to clear. They do have Kenny with the AWP holding the angle. Nobody here to challenge for TSM, however. They know how important this round is, TSM. They aren't taking any risks. They've taken very passive positions up on the sites. Instead of being willing to challenge Kenny, perhaps, give him that opening, they're going to force Envy to run onto the sites and get into the fight close quarters.
Oh, spray down there. Sipnich with the one return. Can he get more through the smoke? He's being shot himself, and the last bullet, NBK takes him out. 4v3 retake. TSM, half of them already running away. Device the only one staying behind and hoping for a miracle. Not gonna happen. They've been doing this all tournament. It seems like every team should have a recipe exactly for how Envy play, and yet, Moses, it can't be stopped.
It doesn't look like it at the moment, because they're just so in sync coming through these smokes, and like we've mentioned it multiple times, they just have no fear. One guy goes down, it's immediately traded off, and the individual skill allows them at times to even get 2 kills. And there's Cajun B just trying to grab a gun. He's only got the 5-7, so he wants to end this round with a weapon, and it looks like this Device is going to spot Happy.
He will.
Here's the thing about it as well. A lot of teams on this map, especially, at times we see a lot of teams, even in the professional scene, just clumping up like that early on in the rounds, and they just find themselves stuck behind a smoke with no map control anywhere else, so they can't fall back, and they feel like they can't go forward because of the smoke. But Envy just doesn't care.
Yeah. And now it's going to be up to Kerrigan, basically, to take the pot off the fire, go back through that recipe book of his, check which ingredients he needs, because they need to figure out what they can do here, TSM. they don't have the money either. They held on to the 5-7 on Cage, and unfortunately for him, he wasn't able to pick up anything else. But Dupree and Device, 2 rifles.
That's the thing. They're almost at the point where, I mean, with 7 rounds on Terra side for Envy, it's getting close to that point where they need rounds more than they can afford to save.
I'm wondering if the French national anthem, if Envy can hear that, because that might fire them up further.
They've got some home support here, cheering them on.
Well done, well done. Yeah, we got a cheering section. I love that the teams also have their cheering sections, because VP right up here next to the caster desk, that's the VP cheering section. Then the French have got their section. Everybody getting in on it here.
The timeout is still in effect, and a lot of communication here on TSM.
Now, just to clarify, they can take a 3-minute timeout here, TSM. So they've used theirs for this half TSM. Envy still have one of their own if they want it, but it's a 3-minute timeout, and then the countdown begins, and it has begun here. So we will be getting into this key round now. TSM stuck, and for now at least, it looks like they're going to skimp on the 2 players that didn't have the rifles, that didn't save. Nothing really spent. $300 invested in this round by Kerrigan.
Yeah, they really have one last chance at a buy to start giving themselves some kind of a window for their terrace half. The beautiful part is, since they just use their timeout, it's usually the terrace side where you get stuck, where you just can't find anywhere to go because the defense is so dominant. They don't have that now. So in the second half, it's just going to be so much more unforgiving for TSM.
A minute left, still a bit more. Kerrigan in the corner, good shot there, but flashes come through, and NBK with a double, triple kill, and now it's Device alone, 1v4. Once they go, they do not stop, and it's definitely going to be 8-1. I do want to point this out. The core of this lineup, with a different in-game leader, which was Fetish, had a huge strength, which was the CT side. They brought on Kerrigan specifically to work on the terrorist side, and that seemed to be sort of the first phase of Kerrigan in this team. Their terrorist side got so much better, their CT side got so much worse, but then they changed it, and they actually managed to get both sides to a very high level. But it seems like now we're sort of reverting back in, because I actually do expect that if TSM get a chance, if they win a pistol round in the second half, or if they get some more rounds for a buffer here, I think they'll do quite well on the terrorist side. But the CT side right now seems to be just a little bit shaky.
Well, I can imagine any team in the world having trouble and struggling when a player of NBK's caliber is sitting on a 14-1-1 scoreline. He's died once, and he's killed 14 people.
And the beauty of it is, how many times have we seen him go in first? Even outside that 1-on-3, he's had so many entries on that B bomb site, so he's just crushing it right now. And
this from a support player for the most part. He's not supposed to be like the big star of the team, but that just shows you why Envy are so terrifying to go up against. Anybody on this team can have a wild match and just completely demolish their opponents. But now it is the big time, the big round. TSM have spent the money.
They've got to lock him out here. This has to finish 8-7. They've even got to win the pistol round after that. They're so much ahead of TSM.
Yeah, but look at the call. Look at how Envy's grouped up over towards B. Zipnix is the only one there. He's got a smoke and a flash, but if he gets caught off guard, he's in so much trouble.
I love this Molotov as well, clearing out the angle. It allows MBK to just push on up. They had the Molotov for sandbags, and what is this? They don't even wait. They go running through their own Molotovs, and Zipnix falls to MBK. 2 kills again for Envy. They do it again. What are you supposed to do if you're TSM?
That's the thing. He only has 1 smoke to use for the entire round. He's trying to delay it as long as possible to have the strongest defense, to run the clock down as low as possible. And what are you supposed to do? Because Envy just runs right through.
And Moses, at the very outset, you were pointing this out. The CT side economy is what dictates how well you do on that side. Normally, when Envy get to the CT side, you'll see them throw smokes from Archway over to B, because they'll have those grenades to spare. TSM just don't. Not even everyone on TSM had a smoke to the beginning of this round. There's so much utility they don't have, and Envy are absolutely exploiting that, as they should.
That's man, and Dupree dies at the end.
Just salt in the wound. And now it's at the point where they just TSM has to force buy basically every round. They can't give any more up. They've already given away too much.
11th round is coming up here. All the utility in the world on Envy. It's finally an AWP on Device, which could change something. He's going to run into the middle. If he can find the opening frag, it might help him. But they're not even going to show themselves. They're up second mid, and that's actually dangerous when you're in the middle as an AWP. If you miss a shot, they're going to be close. Cajun in bedroom with that FAMAS in hand, and he's very much alone, and there's 3 people coming in, a Molotov throw. Oh no, the room is quite literally on fire, and he cannot get out. He's going to burn in the corner, and Cajun put to rest on that bed. Dupree in the corner, and this is Envy. They're gearing up for a grand finals. You can feel it coming. Kiyoshima taking down Dupree. They're looking for a 10th round here in the first half on the terrorist side as well. It's a 3v3, and with the bomb down and just a single kit on Sipnix, this is going to be a tough retake here for the Danish team.
It's a ludicrous one, but they cannot back up. They cannot fall back from this. They have to get these rounds on the board, TSM. They have to go for the retake. They have a single kit on Sipnix, so they have a little bit of time to work with. But when MBK is landing shots like that, you're in for some trouble. Kerrigan finally takes him out, but Apex is there to return the frag. And Sipnix walks right into a bullet from Kiyoshima, caught in the crossfire. No hope, not a prayer. And Envy are sitting on double digits. T-side Inferno. This is outright dominance.
This is a freight train that's caught momentum at the right moment, and they're just running over TSM. There's nothing really that TSM can even do here.
I don't have an answer, and obviously TSM don't either. Navi didn't have it either. Maybe the answer is to just start banning Inferno against this team and just say that's the way we get around this problem. In the middle, it's a slaughter. The Danes are being butchered. Dupree and Device are gone. It's 5v3 right now. Sipnix, Cajun, and Carrigan are left, but there's got to be very little hope on this team right here. Cajun is smoked off, can't get a good shot off. And they're rotating into that bomb side. There is 2 people in there, so at least a bit of a defense, but Envy, they just slow it down and wait for TSM to show themselves.
Yeah, and this is beautiful. With a minute left on the clock, look at how spread out the defense is. The rotations are so long on this map, and they can just wait for plays like that. Cajun B trying to find information, gets picked off. Now it's even weaker. Now they can do whatever they want.
Exactly. Zipnik's now going to go on a bit of a mission of his own, perhaps. Just lying in wait, crossing his fingers, hoping that Envy will make a mistake. There's just...
They cover the whole map from the middle. This is very cool.
And they still have Happy lurking behind to make sure that nobody can push out from B site. So 35 seconds left here and the push will begin. Envy going to start walking their way up short. Zipnix is in a solid position to deal with this, perhaps if he can get the headshots, but Molotovs just go raining in. They aren't going to waste any time at all, clearing out the site. Envy not leaving any openings here. Zipnix, though, does have the kit. And is this a Sparkles moment?
Yes,
no, I think not. I think not.
It's MVK's moment to land yet one more headshot, putting himself at 17-1-2. I'm almost tempted to say that has to be a record for semifinals at majors. I can't imagine many people have got close to this kind of scoreline.
If he finishes this map, the rating for him is like Wolfmeister. Oh yeah, I heard you had 4+. Yeah, let's take a look at that real quick.
Wow.
Man.
I mean, Envy's just running like a 4-man death squad around the map. Everywhere they go, they have like one person just watch the flank, and they're just going to run through smokes. They're going to run through their own Molotovs. They're going to do the craziest thing. And now Kerrigan, he can't even save his gun. They're all on the hunt. Maybe he can.
Oh, he actually pulls it off.
Wow.
Just to spite me.
Well, so you feel like that's good, but you can't even get too excited, can you? I mean, they've had full buys, and still it didn't matter. They've have 4 smokes, 1 Molotov here, so they can buy a bit more time. I like the fact that Sipnix has the Molotov because he's playing that B bomb site. Hard to find an upside right now for TSM.
It's so difficult. And, well, here we go. That 4-man hit squad, as you were saying, just running up second mid. They will start splitting up a little bit here, but only to take over apartments. And Kenny, you might as well use this op like a shotgun. Just walking in close quarters.
Cajun trying to hold on here. Maybe the silver lining is that they're not the only team to get bodied by Envy on this map. There's like a circle or a whole club going on here. Cajun picking up one, but he goes down. Dupree with a good shot there. Pistols out. Device is there to return. This is looking much better. Happy with the 1-on-4 now. They're controlling the bomb as well. So 11-2. That should definitely be 100% here.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The key is that they win those first couple of fights to take control of balcony from Envy. So they're able to, I mean, those crossfires that are set up can actually be effective, but when they just get slaughtered, I mean, it just crumbles around them. So that time, they manage it well, but still, second round of the half for TSM.
Yeah, Envy were clearly waiting on somebody to peek there, because it wasn't Kiyoshima following up the first man through, it was Kenny, and he can't really just like jump in and get the refrag. So something goes right for TSM. Second round on the board for them. 2 rounds left in this half, and now they have a full buy. They have everything they need here. Kits, nades galore, and the AWP4 device. But Envy just running right into nades, no fear at all, straight into Banana.
Yeah, you can see significantly less cheering going on in the Danish crowd right there. As a Dane myself, I do feel my heart sinking a bit watching my brethren being slaughtered here, but it's been pulled up by the wonderful plays of Envy. Look at this, Kiyoshima, stunning headshot, a great opening. They do it time and again. This level of Counter-Strike, you just have to appreciate. Dupree, Cajun, and Device are left, and
They're saving.
they're saving. Why not? What else could they do?
I mean, you're right, Anders. You have to appreciate this. This is art.
Yeah,
This
I mean-
this is a masterclass. This is just one of the very best T-side teams in the world.
Well, there's no finesse to this. There's no there's subtleness to it.
Sometimes the
Subtlety.
strokes can be blunt. You know, they can be very, not all about the detail. Still, Dupree does manage to peek out there and pick up Kenny. Go ahead.
I just want to see what team can put. I mean, I can only think of one team right now that might be out there thinking we'll take it to them, and that might be Fnatic.
Yeah.
Fnatic might have enough confidence to say, okay, you want to try and test out Olofmeister Krim's combo on the B-bomb side, then we'll be ready. We'll go for it. And that would actually be one hell of a matchup. To watch Envy and Fnatic play Inferno right now would be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, it would. Absolutely. Because you can see there's nothing that TSM's been able to do to stop it at this B side. At A, they've had a little bit of success.
I didn't know you wanted to make an enemy out of Taz, Anders. Okay, then. See how things go. Before we make it that far, right? Before we make it that far, it is going to be Envy going for a very characteristic flash through the jump smoke, and well, this time the defense, it holds. Cajun B with the triple spray down, and Dupree picking up the last kill.
Oh, there we go. I like that. Some energy from the Danish side as well here. 12-3. First half is over. This is the third map, but we're moving into the second half, and an incredible lead here for the Envy team.
This is going to have to be a pretty stellar T-side from TSM. That's a big hole to get out of. And with MBK playing like that, he's going to be at the B-bomb site. And he's been so good in there throughout this tournament, just holding that site down, even when he's alone. 17-4 he ends that half.
Just obscene, and that's actually something that we saw versus Na'Vi as well. Na'Vi attempted to crack through on the B-bomb side, but MBK was so impressive, picking up kills, but more importantly, staying alive to allow for the rotation of his teammates to move in and support him on that side. He just showed so much potential there. But this is going to be a minute left here, and I'm sure that TSM are going to be basically using every single second of it. They need to make sure that they have everything ironed out for this pistol round, because if they lose this pistol round, that's pretty much lights out here for them in this tournament.
I definitely think banning Inferno is like, maybe unless you're Fnatic, banning Inferno might just be an instant from now on.
It might be a point of pride for Fnatic though, right? Like,
We've seen that before from both Envy and Fnatic. Whenever they've had slumps on Inferno, they just keep picking it anyway because they just do not give up on it.
Nope.
Wow.
Magnificent. More than 10,000 CS fans filling a stadium here on the 3rd birthday of CSGO, no doubt, as well.
Yeah, let the Counter-Strike community unite. We've got so many newcomers as well. I can't wait to see the statistics. After every major tournament, we see a huge rise in players coming into the scene, and it's great. Hope you guys are going to be welcoming them with open arms. There it is.
But that's it, guys. That's enough time. We're going to be counting down now into the second half. Team Solo Mid sitting with 3 rounds, starting off their T side. Envy with a magnificent lead, 12 rounds going into their CT half on the defense. And the praise is justified. Their defense is excellent as well on this map. So we shall see what TSM have in store for us here. 4 Kevlar for them, a couple of nades picked up on Kerrigan. No Tech 9 for Kerrigan. And that's also something that we need to point out because he tends to favor that pistol and get a lot of work done with it.
I like this run from Apex, just up through apartments, just to get the information, almost no risk, just jumps in, checks quick if there's anyone on the bridge or anyone maybe in second mid, and then he's gone again. Just a very, very simple task.
Yeah, very small information gathering. Very spread out from TSM though at the moment, not dedicating themselves anywhere. Maybe just thinking that Envy, they've been aggressive this entire match so far, why not do it on the CT pistol? So they're just watching for that. 1 smoke, 1 flash onto Kerrigan, and he has the bomb over towards that B bomb site.
And now we start to see the rotate.
In our early analogy, if TSM were the hunters and EnVy were the grizzly bear, then right now they're being just mauled by that bear. There's not a lot of hunt left here. I could understand if they're just a little bit worried, but they are setting up for it. Happy, NBK inside. Apex close by on rotation, but now they're all going to come streaming in. Glocks in hand, NBK with the opening, and Happy over at Coils. It's going to be Apex with a headshot. Happy find a little bit lower. Carrigan will drop him. Can they get NBKs in the back lines? He goes down to Dupree, and Apex not landing the shots. He has to fall back. It's a 3v3. Kenny's low as well, but he gets the shot mid-air on Carrigan. The bomb is down, and it's down to a 1v1. Dupree versus Kiyoshima. This might be a way back in, or it might be EnVy cruising into the grand finals. It's a double kill for Dupree. He's going to go for that bomb plant, holding it down. Kiyoshima moving closer. Can he get it? He's clutched it so many times. He's walking in. Dupree's around the corner, and the fight happens. And Dupree, he's going to get it. It's a triple kill. And TSM, they stay alive. And look at that. I won't even call it relief, but a second where the tension just dips a little bit here for TSM.
Yeah, and just tries to bully their way into that B bomb site. Once again, one smoke, one flash. It's just very, very standard take. And once again, despite losing 2 kills, just deja vu from the first half Pisteron. It happened the same way to EnVy. As they lose the first 2, the remaining 3 members swarm over that bomb site and hold it off. So nice 1 versus 1 from Dupree.
Yeah, that was huge. Kiyoshima as well. He's not going to be pleased about that, seeing as how he was so effective on Cash at locking down those clutch rounds for EnVy.
Give me a forecast here. What are the chances that we'll see a round here for EnVy straight away?
Are you seriously pulling a Leroy Jenkins on me right now?
Yeah, exactly.
Number crunch?
Crunch the numbers. Give me a percentage.
3.33 repeating, I think, right?
Exactly. Apex, Kiyoshima, and Kenny over at that bomb side. They've got the smokes as well on the EnVy side. Just again, like TSM did, apply a bit of pressure, try and see if you can funnel someone towards a bomb side, or maybe force them to make a couple of mistakes.
And they want to get, I mean, look at the presence in apartments and pit as well. Kiyoshima with the dig, and he's up on balcony. There you go. Oversteps, however, and he just barely gets out. But of course, he's not going to survive that. Device not allowing it. Apex gets spotted as well. Device on the hunt. Kerrigan will take out Kenny. And the rotate coming in a bit too late here for Team EnVy. Well, too late. I mean, they just didn't have the time to get in position. Happy is going to be able to hang around. But Dupree, if he goes jumping through this doorway, it's going to end badly for him. Oh, there it is.
Did you see Apex make like a completely sort of instinctual 180 turn to shoot, just in case someone was coming up from behind?
Yeah, I almost feel like he might have heard a footstep and he just flicks it around.
That's being high powered. Like that's when you know you're just
zoned in.
Yeah, zoned in, exactly.
I think you had it right though, that Deagle just commits a little bit too much, trying to see if there's anything there, and he can't get back. He can't just go for those 1-digs like he'd like to at the safety of cover.
Exactly. If he can drop back into pit, he can play around the car angle, he can try and catch them out, trying to get onto that site. Yeah, Kiyo, just a really big step out into the open, catches him off guard. Well, that's not going to work for EnVy. The buy has been stopped. The money kind of floating around the 2,000 mark. Looking at Kenny, he's got 2350 this time.
What order of magnitude of comeback are we talking about here if TSM actually make it back in this game?
It goes into the history, like just basically like one of the most legendary comebacks in the entirety of CSGO.
Of the highest caliber.
Yeah, just there's no discussion. TSM would then basically, you know, erupt on stage and assume their godlike forms, right? That's what would happen. But the push begins, and TSM do not want to walk into a trap. There is a bit of a stack coming out from EnVy on that A site. Of course, with limited firepower, no reason for them not to. They're kind of gambling. TSM had luck last round coming here. Maybe they'll do it again, and so far, so good.
This is pretty much the same stack, at least over towards the halls with Apex and Kiyo.
Man, and Kiyo really just keeps stepping way out into the open.
This is really the calm before the storm, though, as TSM, they've prodded a little bit, and they're waiting for their hit, and they're all grouping up towards middle to attack this A bomb site. There's a stack here from EnVy, though.
This could get brutal. They're going to just go charging straight up, and there it is. Apex starting off. Kiyo hits the headshot, though. Kenny with the third one. What is going on? Kerrigan, can he establish control? No, he can't. He's 1v4. They walked straight into the blender. TSM have nothing left. Well, Kerrigan's not done yet. 1v3, making a 1v2, but he's down to 14 HP. And versus P250s, a single shot will do it, and NBK is there to do it. In the end, 13 rounds for EnVy. TSM walking into the stack, a round they should never have lost.
It's incredible, and it's just so fitting that EnVy gets that on an eco round where they didn't even have armor. They just had some upgraded pistols, but it comes down. They get that first kill, and then TSM, all the players are like, how do we trade this back? And that's when another one pounces out of the cover.
I can't even see this happening. I want to believe that this comeback is somehow possible, but it seems so far gone. Happy playing aggressive outside of Banana is going to get pop flashed in by a teammate inside, but he goes down to Cajun, and that's a very important early frag, leaving Envy with a man down and TSM with a lot of time to figure out where they want to go.
I imagine TSM, if they've done their research, are not going to fall for this mid-round aggression in A halls, and it looks like that's exactly what Envy's doing right now. Both players are going to start pushing up. They want to find the information. They want to take this map control.
The Dupree is there. Device does manage to find the kill on Kenny, who was scoped up with the AWP, so no joy on the B site. But the push goes through, and Dupree gets into Boiler, but this is going to get interesting here. If Apex can catch somebody rotating, if he can catch somebody out in the open, he's not going to find the bomb. But this could end poorly here for TSM. This could be a free frag, and there it is. Apex gone, but Dupree still lying in wait. He could turn this right back in TSM's favor.
Nice shot from Sipnix. That's very important. Still 40 seconds, and he's going to walk in and realize there's nobody home in the A-bomb site. So MBK and Kyoshima probably just going to save straight away. I think they realize already, okay, that's it.
Yeah, especially because they have the AWP now, so they can give that right back to Kenny, and we all know Kenny can turn any round, right on its head with that ult.
I feel like this would be the equivalent of the remaining crew of the Titanic gluing the boat together as it's sinking and then continuing the journey. That's what TSM need to do right now. Get the water out once it's glued back together.
One piece of chewing gum and duct tape at a time.
Yeah, have it float back up again and then continue. This is what we're looking for. Now you know.
Was MacGyver Danish?
Right now, TSM, I mean, they need something like that. Find some sort of creativity here.
Well, here's one thing that they're doing. I mean, they don't have a lot of rounds that they can play with in terms of this working out long term, but they're making sure that Envy early on doesn't stabilize in the economy. They've responded pretty well here. There are a couple guns saved, but the three members without guns had around $1,500. They're going to drop the op, and they are going to be able to drop some weapons. So this is one more buy out of Envy, and if TSM can manage to win this one and kind of try and keep closing the gap on those eco rounds for Envy, that's huge.
As far as the round is concerned, though, Envy putting Kenny up in the apartments, going for a bit of a JW here. Zipnix is going to be there to greet him, but he's just a second too late, and Kenny, rather than force the issue, he's actually just going to take a bit more of a passive position here. He does have his teammate there to watch his back, watch the other apartments. So he doesn't have to worry about getting shot in the side of the face quite yet.
You've got to be careful as well. I think Kenny was very close to making enough noise jumping up there that Sipnix might have heard it. So if he does that, Sipnix knows Kenny almost getting that kill. He does tag him, but now he's trapped. He's going to run back through the fire and takes a lot of damage. That weirdly ends up being roughly an equal trade in damage done, but still, that's very scary. If he doesn't hit the frame of the door back there, Sipnix is gone.
And that would have been a huge advantage for Envy. It goes without saying. So now Envy, they're going to slow things down. They got a little bit of info. They also knew that the second man was present in apartments as well due to the Molotov going down. So now it comes back to whether... Oh, what?
Oh,
Kyoshima, that was a big miss on the smoke there. Or was he actually going for some trick play here?
He was trying to smoke off the corner so they wouldn't think Apex was hiding right there at that angle if they were working their way up halls.
Well, we're at the B-bomb site, which seems to be the destination for TSM. NBK and Happy are inside. Flash through. Happy Flash himself has to run back through the smoke, but NBK's in the back lines, still picking up the kill on Sipnix. 17 seconds left. He goes down to Carrigan. And TSM looking to extend this fight a bit more. Kenny moving in through the coils, but there are so many Danes left still. Actually, back into a 3v3 as he gets that kill on Cajun, and now Happy, Kyoshima, and Kenny trying to see if they can retake this. They're both in yellow right now. Dupree gonna get the kill on Kyoshima. They've got a great crossfire set up here. Very hard for Envy to break, and Happy and Kenny, they're actually gonna give up on it. Even though they're very close, they just feel like it's not worth it.
Wise play here on Envy's side. No reason to lose the AWP going into that crossfire. Kenny came very close to bringing it back, but so unfortunate there for Happy. I mean, actually, it kind of worked out because if you notice, nobody really was blind on TSM's part. So if he kept pushing out through that smoke, he was a goner. He wasn't going to do anything, so at least he stayed alive. But NBK, unfortunate that he couldn't line up an extra kill there.
they've got the duct tape out, surely. I mean, they're really working on this hard right here. We're down to a 6-round difference, which is still quite a bit. If they could force an eco on Envy at some point soon, that would definitely help them out a lot.
Well, they're never going to get a full eco. I don't think we'll ever see that out of Envy. There's an AWP in Kenny's hands, there's an M4 with Unhappy, and just some upgraded pistols, 2 Deagles on NBK and Kiyoshima, so you're never going to get Envy to not buy some upgraded pistols in these rounds, but they have prevented the armor. But look at this duel.
There's the shot, and there's the miss. Kenny not going to be able to follow up on that either. He does make it out, however, alive and in one piece. Down to 50 HP. Wallbang's going through. Team Solo Mid being very thorough as well with the clearing apartments. You know, they really are taking the time to get the wallbangs out there. Make sure that Envy don't try and pull anything sneaky by lurking up there. But there's the Molotov. And oddly enough, nobody peeking behind it, so they weren't actually able to pick off Kiyoshima when he was forced to change position.
Yeah, no punish there, so he gets away, and that's interesting that no one is prepared for that. But either way, they're being cautious like this because they don't want to fall prey to another anti-eco or eco round loss at this point.
Oh, look at what they've accomplished, TSM. They've got one guy in archway, the other 4 pushing up on Banana. It's a really, really good setup. It's very rare that you get to do this for free. Kenny making a lot of noise as well, but behind Carrigan, Kiyoshima running in. And now this should be a good push. Actually, are they going to fall back in underpass? Apex, he can hear them. They're right above him. He's going to go with the C7, but he can't do it. Sipnix spots him down in that grave and just wonders.
What could have been?
Yeah, oh wow. I don't remember leaving anyone here.
That could have been the round right there. Imagine Apex gets 2 with the CZ up close like that. It's perfectly possible. Solo Mid, they play it very well this time around. They don't fall for any of the traps.
Right, and I'm wondering how committed they're going to be to the hunt, because this AWP and the M4 have been around for a couple rounds now being saved. So when is the economy for TSM strong enough to go chase it down? It looks like it's not this round. They're playing it very cautiously. They know they need to have money behind any losses they take in these rounds coming up if they want to complete this comeback.
But after this next round, pretty much, because now they're starting to get to the point where after this round and then the win, very healthy bank here on TSM. So now the hunt begins if anything happens.
We might as well point this out if it ever comes close enough, but there is a tendency, and especially I think in matches like this where the pressure is absolutely maximum, that once you get very, very close to the full comeback, when you equalize, when you even get to 14 rounds, you feel like now we're there, that's when the machine breaks once again.
Well, if there's a time to do it, it'd be now, because TSM has got their 5th round of the half, and that seemed to be the magic number for Envy in the past, where they're just saying, all right, no more.
Thank you for pointing that out, Moses. Thank you for pointing that out.
Bring it full circle.
Might be coming, exactly, you know, everything according to plan, actually. Happy. He just wants to make a good show.
An example there of the smoke that was thrown from Archway. It's one of the things that TSM never really had a good enough economy to do much of, but Envy, the absolute champions at it, and that's going to make a B push very hard to do, unless you want to go through the smoke.
Yeah, it still gives. I mean, one thing is that, apart from Kenny, when he had the AWP looking for the peak, never really been challenging TSM too much in Banana. TSM have a lot of space now if they want to go up onto that B site. But it looks like for now, at least, it's going to be A, and they're going to be peeking around trying to get the mid control. But with a minute left on the clock, there's still plenty of options here for TSM. And what is that? Kenny tags Dupree down to 18 HP. Kenny, stop shooting into the door frame.
It still must be very annoying. Dupree, as we said, has not had the greatest semifinals here. So he needs maybe a bit of confidence to try and get back into it. 40 seconds, and looks like they might actually change their minds about that A push. Happy and NBK in that bomb site still defending, and Happy's right at the edge. He's tried that flashbang a couple of times and it hasn't worked so well, but he's had good success with it in the past, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's going to try and do it once again here. Smokes are going to go in. Happy very close by. NBK in the back lines. There's the first smoke. He's going to try and go for it here. Happy picks up a kill. NBK too, and this is looking great. TSM, the 2 men down to pretty low already, but he gets a headshot anyway, and Happy getting spammed through. 8 health surviving, and the bomb, is it down? There it is.
Big difference here, however, for Envy. They have the man advantage in this case. It's not a 3-on-3. So they can actually push forward here, look for trade frags, just so long as they maintain the man advantage, it is good, but they don't have any nades. They have a single kit that's going to be on Kenny. Apex, however, will find the kill on Dupree. Zipix pre-firing, not going to do it. Apex is there. Cajun B, however, is going to just do so much work. 2 kills, but it's not enough. Apex, all 3 frags. And in the meantime, Kenny was on the defuse. Envy not to be denied that round, and they are now up to 14.
5 rounds and the wall comes up. And it's all about the damage that was dealt. Happy in the past on those B hits when TSM has won them, Happy's playing that spawn side, so he gets stuck behind that smoke. He's tried to pop flash himself through it, but he's not able to deal enough damage to really bail NBK out of a tough spot. That time he gets a kill. It allows NBK to get one as well. And then, like you said, they have that man advantage in the retake, and that was crucial.
Ooh. A smoke a little bit further back, and you can see Kenny sort of thinking, should I try and peek out in front of it? But not really willing to risk it here. 6-round difference now. It looks like a really fast execute here from TSM, and the same one that Envy does over and over. Not going to hit the shot there. They're trying to get close to Kenny. He's flashed, he can't get out. He goes down, and the speed, now they're turning it back against Envy. Happy, trying to land the shot, missing a lot, and he's going to get refragged as well. There's still 2 people over by the pit here, and it's going to be Apex and Kiyoshima. MBK trying to come in here, but the bomb is already down in sight. This is a critical moment. If they lose this round, TSM, they might be out of it. Apex up on the balcony, sprays, but he misses, tries to jump down, and the MBK frags out Sipnix. The bomb ticking away. Cajun with one more kill, mix it a double. It's still into a 2v2. They've got a health advantage on the Danish side, but he's on the bomb. He's defusing. Can they stop it? They're too far away. Apex, he's gonna get it through, and it's a round for Envy. Match and map point.
That's the second time this tournament that plant spot has bailed Envy out of a really tight spot. First it was against Na'Vi when they throw the Molotov and NBK diffuses it in the fire. Once again, that plant spot is just brutal.
That plant spot is like the last ditch, basically. You go for that if you have no other option.
And they had no other option because there were still 2 players alive in pit. That's the key to those players surviving. It limits where the terrorist team can go to plant or after the plant.
Now, TSM aren't done yet. They aren't out of this quite. They've got all the money that they need for a full buy here, so they still have all the utility, the nades, everything. But then Kiyoshima with a shotgun takes Dupree out in the apartments, and Apex is still here, doubling it up. If Zipnix were to push up, this could end poorly for him. And the sense here from Apex, he hears the steps, and he's going to get the backstab. This could be huge. Checks left, checks right, and decides to play it safe and back off. That could have been a totally different story. It all comes down to the timing.
Well, because look at Apex. That's a smart decision. Look at Sipnix. I mean, he playing the mind games. He wraps around. Instead of falling back towards mid, he just wraps around the door just to watch for that kind of a play.
This team, I mean, both of these teams are so very familiar with each other as well. The feeling, all the mind games. This is it. TSM once again gathered up outside of B. The smoke goes down to block him off. Well, this smoke takes down. They're going to have to make the decision here, TSM. They are setting up with the smokes. It is going to be the full execute. Zipnix slowly making his way into Banana. They need to get all 4 players here ready to go crashing onto this site. And NBK, is he going to be in position? Can he do it again?
Well, they got the Molotov through. He's going to have to move out. Happy gets caught mid-aggression, and NBK goes down. Cajun comes charging through and takes him out. And that's a very, very convincing execution from TSM.
Smart play from Device, because Happy has been pop flashing himself through that smoke every time there's a B hit. This time he's got Naught in his arsenal, and he could have just sat back and supported his teammate, but instead he pulls out that Tech 9, runs straight through the smoke towards CT spawn, knowing he's going to catch Happy with the flashbang out.
That was so clever. And, well, the Molotov as well to actually force NBK out from behind new boxes. He had nowhere to hide. He has to change up, go to Ninja. And, well, TSM, because of that Molotov going down behind new, they're checking that angle already. He couldn't get anything done.
There's no money here on Envy. If they lose these rifles, they're not going to be able to rebuy them, and that's why Sipnix is out hunting. But good job on Apex. 2 rifles is definitely a big difference from none here. So we'll see. Envy, are they going to force up on the rest, or are they going to give TSM a bit of an easier round? And this is Envy we're talking about. At least Kiyoshima goes Deagle armor, and a couple of more pistols being purchased here. We need 6 rounds straight with no mistakes at all from TSM. Then we'll go into overtime and we'll see what happens, but it's still very far away.
It's the long slog, 1 round at a time. Again, the mantra that TSM are repeating. Each round is its own game, and if you do everything right, you can get that overtime. We've seen it happen in the past, but now, well, Envy, of course, with the pistols, they're actually grouping up quite a bit. All 3 players kind of focused over here towards short. If Dupree goes for that boiler peak, he's going to be in for a bit of a rough surprise.
Yeah, and this is a stack on the lane, all 3 members there, so once again, very slow out of TSM. Not a lot of utility. Apex he's got actually a smoke in a Molotov, but he's going to go for the duel first. He gets gooshed through the wall just a little bit. He's going to fall back with 30 HP. Now is the time you might want to start using those nades. And it's going to be a flash. They're going to get aggressive. Nope, it's a smoke.
Smoke goes up. Counter flash out though. Would have been good timing if they had actually pulled that flash there, because I think they would have been able to catch them. But now 39 seconds and they're gonna once again rotate back, but this time with a bit of a twist as Karrigan is moving up into CT spawn. He's gonna die to Happy. That should have definitely been a kill. NBK up here, he drops Cajun. Oh no, not like this. It's a 2v5. Envy, they're punishing TSM. Dupree goes down. And it all comes down to Sipnix here. 1v4. He's got 15 seconds and K denies it. Envy, they make their grand finals here in Cologne.
And now 3 of these players, NBK, Happy, and Kiyashima, are major title holders. They won DreamHack Winter 2014 under the LDLC banner, but the emotions that must be going through Kenny and Apex's minds right now, the fact that they've just recently went through this team change to get to team up with Envy, and now here they are in the major finals. They've survived the semis, they've made the run, and they've shattered TSM's dreams of making a finals of their own. I mean, TSM once again discovered that there's a line at the semis, and they haven't figured out how to get past it.
I just can't believe that comeback was looking good there for a little bit, and then it just ends on those rounds where just 2 guns and 3 pistols. And that's the thing, that's the danger of Envy. Is so good with those pistols, even without the armor, they can still do so much damage.
Yeah, deserved applause here for the Envy team. Incredible performance here. Very good on Cash. Very hard fight for them on Dust too, but on Inferno, as it's been the whole tournament, they've shown themselves to be very, very strong. Near unstoppable, you're tempted to say.
Just incredible, really. And the juggernaut on Inferno, it's very rare. That's got to be one of the best performances T-side Inferno we've seen in quite some time, and NBK in particular. What was he up, 72-2, 17-2, something like that?
17, yeah, so at least 17-2 at one point here.
We are going to go ahead now and hand it off to our host and interviewer, OJ, as he is prepared with the winner interview.
Thank you very much. I think there's only one word to sum up that whole match, and we all know what it is. Fuck. That's what it was. An unbelievable match. It was amazing to watch. What was it like to play?
It was amazing, especially the third map. Everything was perfectly for us. We have a whole crowd of French guys that are coming here just for us. It's just amazing.
Now, obviously, you can't hear them while you're playing. Can you feel the energy?
Yeah, especially when you win big rounds, when you have clutches, or when you're going down, you always have people that are cheering you up, and that's very, very important. We keep our calm, and we have people cheering for us. It's the perfect combination.
Now, when I spoke to Karrigan yesterday, he said the words revenge for what you did to them at Gamescom. You knew they were going to come at you.
Yeah, obviously. We knew they were very prepared. It was a very tight game. They pushed us to our limits, and yeah, they played very well.
And just a word on Kenny S. Now, he's never played in a major semi-final before. He's never played in a final before either. How does the team feel about making it to the ESL One final?
Well, it's very special. We have not that much of a preparation, I guess, but we came here very ready and we knew what we were able to do. The whole team is feeling very good. The final was the dream we wanted to go on, and now we're just one step away from going with the gold medal. So it's a very good feeling at the moment.
And how much do you want that second major?
We'll see. Wait and see.
Who do you think, okay, let's call it, the next semi-final is on the way, and it's going to be another insane matchup. Who do you think you'll be playing in the final?
It's going to be tough, but I guess Fnatic are coming very prepared, and I want to face them.
You want to face Fnatic? Well, Virtus Pro will have something to say to that. Put together to you for your winners and the first team into the final, Envy!
What a match. The first time we finally get to see all 3 maps, and OJ, I think, perfectly summing it up for all of us who are watching. I think the same word was running through a lot of our minds, because I mean, let's be honest, the commentators were talking about it. Someone was rounding it up when he said, well, the comeback, and Moses too, comeback was looking very real for TSM, but Envy, super aggressive on Inferno. They wanted that win.
Yeah, we talked about the entire pre-game analysis that there's 10 good players on this server.
Yeah.
But on this last map, there was one guy who really excelled.
I think we know who it is, isn't it? MBK, natural born killer, with one of the best performances on a big tournament I think we've ever seen on the T side of Inferno. Absolutely stellar stuff from him. Amazing entry kills, clutching 3-on-1 to get them back into the economy. It was amazing stuff from him, and that was a joy to watch, and hats off to him.
Yeah, I mean, it was going nuts in here, of course, for both teams, with all the fans. I mean, we had a lot of fans for both teams here at the Lanxess Arena. But Fifth, let's talk about MBK a little bit more, because he had a lot of moments, especially on that T side on Inferno.
Yeah, I mean, he was everywhere, and it wasn't, just to sum up the whole game, it's not really necessarily what TSM did wrong, it's what it's what Envy did right, especially on the T side. MBK was everywhere, got a lot of help from his teammates, he was just 180, headshots everywhere. Yeah, I mean, by far one of the better halves of a player that I've seen in a very long time.
So it started off, like Norman said, Envy got the pistol, they got the 3-0. So the first gun round comes in. The natural thing the CTs do, get that banana control. They sent actually 3 players there this time. It was such a great read from Envy. They just went straight up middle and isolated the bomb site 5-on-2, and that really got the momentum flowing for them. It broke down the CT economy from there. They got the 5-0, and then from there on, they just had complete control of the map. Wherever they went, they seemed to find entry kills and stifled the CTs. They didn't seem to have a response for such a long time.
Yeah, and you addressed it perfectly. As soon as they won that first weapon round on the great read by Envy, everything just seemed to fall apart. People from TSM started to miss their shots. They never had like the full buys where they had all kind of utility, and everything really went downhill. NBK crushing their money with that 3-on-1 plan.
Oh, man.
There was a lot of rounds where I feel like TSM could have handled differently, and it would maybe have had a different outcome. We talk about the 3-on-1 from NBK. We talk about the second anti-eco as terrorists. They win the hard one where they have Kevlar. Then they do this very random strategy, 3 guys in halls and 2 guys in short, and that's really not what you want to do when you have the weapon advantage.
Yeah, they all went the quad side, right? All the terrorists, and then he's got crossfired from all different sides, and it's kind of weird that they actually walked into that stack without actually gathering information on the map. They hadn't seemed to gain any presence before they walked into that. There was no utility for the CTs whatsoever, no armor in fact. That was actually the eco round after the force buy. That's the one they got them back into it, so that was pretty crazy scenes. It seemed like all the rounds, to be fair to TSM, they did have a very strong terrorist half. The comeback was real. There was a real chance of it happening.
Yeah.
Every round that the CTs got, they answered straight back. There was no momentum gathered for Envy, but when you lose the first half 12-3, it's almost impossible at that stage, I'm afraid. However strong your comeback may be, it's such an impossible task, and that's what it proved to be in the end.
Yeah, I mean, not to take the spotlight away from Envy, but TSM, I mean, like you said, was trying their best to fight back.
Yeah, and I just want to point out, just obviously we were giving a lot of cred to NBK, but look at the strategical approach that Envy had, and obviously this goes to Happy, right? Running through their own Molotovs, not showing any fear whatsoever for TSM, and it's not like they're a bad team, right? They were just like, well, okay, we'll throw our own Molotov there. We'll run through it. We don't care.
That was really surprising.
That was very scary
and
to watch.
it's like, yeah, exactly. It's very unorthodox, but it paid off. It worked every single time.
Because it's the last thing you expect as a CT team. You think you've got that safety net of the Molotovs going down. You think, okay, there's at least 5 seconds here before we need to do anything. All of a sudden, you've got 4 terrorist players coming onto the bomb site, and you've potentially got nades in your hand at that stage.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
just get the entry frags, right?
You see the Molotovs, you're like, okay, I'm going to wait, and then I'm going to throw the smoke, flashbang, whatever. All of a sudden, they're just in your face. And I feel like the only thing that might annoy me from this game is the fact that NBK and Happy has been playing on that B bomb site together for so long, and they always do the 1 spawn and 1 dark spot setup. And I mean, even though you just can't run without your, with your head in your hands, and just only check those 2 spots, I simply feel like it's too easy to hold it for them when you know the informations that you do.
Yeah, so Envy looking really strong though. So they were tested too though, of course. TSM took it to that 3rd map on Dust 2. They came back, tied it up 1-1 in the earlier section of this match. So how good is Envy looking now going into the final, because they've secured a spot in being top 2 this major at ESL One Cologne?
I mean, I guess this is why they gathered this new lineup, right? To try and go ahead and win the next major. And so far they're looking very strong. It's still hard to say. It depends for me on how Fnatic are going to show against this next semi-final against Virtus Pro, because they should be the heavy favorites for the next semi-final. In case Virtus Pro goes through, we talked about them. They are this momentum-based team as well. It could be the Virtus Plow. EnVyUS is looking strong, and that's all I can say. For me, it's hard to predict a winner at this point.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely correct. We need to look at the next semi-final to see exactly where the form lies with both these teams today. EnVyUS obviously looking very strong individually. Their team play is immense as well. It's just that combination of hitting every single shot, getting onto the bomb sites correctly, and seeing to have very good reads. Obviously, their Dust 2, they got locked down, but that was when TSM really stepped it up. They actually found their footing and got some decent momentum on the T side themselves. So I think EnVyUS, to answer your question, looking very strong going into this final.
Yeah, I mean, Fifth, to dive a little bit more in detail before we move on to that second semifinal, EnVyUS, again, they've been slowly eliminating all the doubts that the community and other analysts had about them, like new roster, Apex and Kenny, can they perform? How's that chemistry going to work out again? Every one of them have been proving that, and then, like you said, Happy coming up with even newer ideas on how to beat their opponents. Do you think that it's no longer, we can't just credit it to just simply being a honeymoon period, I think?
Maybe. You know, everything, especially in the French scene, everything is handy-dandy. The first few months, everyone likes each other. You know, they will split a baguette or two, and then all of a sudden they have this one bad tournament, and then they might not disagree. But again, I mean, overall, yes, they are looking really good. But so did the first formed Envy, then formerly LDLC as well. They were looking extremely good. And one thing just to note as well, the reason why I really want them to match up against Fnatic is at DreamHack Winter we had this very weird semi-final, and you know we had the Boostmeisters thing, and it just ended up in somewhat of a kind of a weird tournament, right? And then EnVyUS obviously beating NIP, but there was a final that we never got to see. With these three players, and then with the addition of KennyS and Apex now with the Fnatic roster, it's probably the second best final we could have gotten if TSM would have made the grand final, and then we would have got Fnatic, and then that kind of final would have been probably ideal. But then now when we just switch it over, we have the final that we never got to see at DreamHack Winter.
Oh yeah, that's an excellent point. Kind of going back in history and looking back, maybe getting what we might have deserved as a community to watch here at the major. But again, with the ball's still in the court for VP. They can still play this out. They still have a shot. Ladies and gentlemen, only one semifinal done. The second one's still waiting for us. EnVyUS, your first finalist, but let us know what you think. Would you like to see that final between EnVy and Fnatic, or do you have faith in the Virtus Plow just running through this major at ESL One Cologne 2015? Don't forget the hashtag ESL1, and we'll find out very shortly after we take a quick break. Of course, if you want to find out more about everything that's happening at this tournament in Cologne, go to theScore eSports. Download the app from the iOS App Store or Google Play, and they have a bunch of nice interviews from behind the scenes too from all these players, their insights after their matches as they've been playing through this tough top 16 match of ESL One Cologne. We'll be back after this with semifinal number 2, VP versus Fnatic.